According to the World Health Organization, Africa has the highest road accident death rates globally. And Nigeria tops the list of African countries with the most traffic accident-related fatalities. With about 5,081 deaths from road accidents in 2023, this is according to the Federal Road Safety Corps, it is imperative to implement actions to address these avoidable tragedies and save lives. While many factors contribute to road traffic accidents in Nigeria, human error remains the leading cause. These errors can range from distracted driving, speed violations, wrongful overtaking, and dangerous driving to reckless behaviors, resulting in devastating consequences. We have in the studio with us to discuss what the FRSC is doing to reduce the number of road accidents, the Deputy Corps Commander Operations, Lagos Sector Command, FRSC, Lucas Oguntade. Good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning. It's my pleasure.
Good morning to you.
Now, we know that the Corps has had several operations, Operation Zero, No Tolerance, here and there. Every year and almost regularly we see the Corps put together this operation. Yet we are not seemingly getting the results we desire when we're talking about addressing accidents. What really is the issue, the challenge, from your experience?
Thank you so much. The mandate of our mandate is to ensure to ensure proper traffic management and to ensure that there is sanity on our ways. And beyond that, the design and production of number plate and driver's license, and providing rescue services in case of traffic accident, and the removal of obstructions at the appropriate time, and so on. So our effort at ensuring that there is a good result, especially talking about reduction of road traffic accident, we are doing a lot of things. Like you rightly mentioned, there are various special intervention programs that we put in place. And I want to say that it is actually working out. It is actually working out. Because if you go by records, you see that, yes, especially even this last year we talked about, is better. The last year, the records of road traffic crashes was better than the previous year. Yes. And so far, it is, at least the few months we've spent this year, it has. But we keep increasing our level of awareness. Right. The real problem is attitude. Right. It's attitude.
In what sense? Maybe you need to break it down.
That is attitudes of drivers, motorists generally. Like now you talk of road traffic accident as a result of dangerous driving. As it is today, going by the information and education, we are not even expected or supposed to be recording road traffic accident. But you see it happening. When people get to the scene of accident, you see them sympathizing, crying and all that. But about 10 minutes after, they forget about it. So what we keep doing is to ensure that we increase education, enlightenment, awareness about the do's and don'ts that often leads to this situation.
That's right. So, well, looking at the numbers, because of course you said you're actually doing a whole lot to reduce accidents. According to the NBS, in first quarter 2022, total road traffic crashes were 3,345, showing a decrease of 1.82% from fourth quarter 2021, which records 3,407. But how much or how enough is all of the strategies you are employing to reduce road crashes? Because we still almost on a daily basis report stories of cars running into trucks or anyway, and then people dying in that process. You mentioned attitude, but how have you been addressing this? What exactly is the main challenge for you in stemming this tide?
Thank you so much. For example, you realize that cases of containers falling off the truck has drastically reduced. There is a program that we call Safe to Load. At the ports, and all strategic parks, we have our men that inspects these trucks before they load, before they leave the port and these various terminals, to ensure that the safety standard is maintained. So in those days, before now, you hear cases of containers falling off, falling on top of vehicles and killing people and all that. But you agree with me that presently that has drastically reduced. Now, going to general motoring public, like this morning now, we have dispatched our men across the major parks in the metropolis to talk to drivers, even passengers inclusive, because they all have roles to play.
Absolutely.
Yes, and beyond even motor parks, you see us going to public places. And equally religious places where you are sure that you have a large number of people, large audience to talk to them. If we are not knowledgeable about what and what we are expected to do, that is when you see these cases coming up. So we ensure that, yes, we improve and increase our enlightenment to the general public, to the motoring public. For example, people driving and at the same time drinking. People driving at the same time using drugs. People driving at the same time you are making use of your calls.
That's the
yes, your phones, making use of your phone, making calls and receiving calls while driving. So these are things you need to let people know. These are factors resulting in road traffic crashes. So when they are aware, the level of awareness is increasing. I mean, it's increasing. You realize that the level of road traffic crashes is coming down. And these are what we are intensifying.
Right. So, because my next question will be, are we looking at approaching things differently this time around? We know that there is a new Corps Marshal, and, you know, the president has given him marching orders to also address, you know, this issue as well. I'm wondering if we are looking at a new approach to addressing these matters of people's attitude, increase the level of awareness such that it is not just about where we meet with these people at the motor parks or where we have large number of persons. We are making use of technology and every other thing necessary to create more awareness.
Yes, like you rightly put it, this is a new order.
Yeah.
Even starting from the personnel, that is in terms of training. We are receiving a new order of training. And apart from training, that is to increase the knowledge of even personnel. Now, apart from that, the visibility is improving, and that is increasing your logistics, patrol vehicles, and personnel on the road. Almost everywhere, every road to be covered. Such that within a short distance, if you are traveling, you meet our personnel on the road, and at a reasonable distance, there is what we call traffic calming. As you go along, you meet our personnel, and when it is necessary, they stop you, they talk to you, and continuously like that. So there is going to be a wider coverage, Definitely deploying a lot of initiatives that will make us to achieve better results.
All right, we have so many officials, so many personnel on the roads, on our roads. We have the VIO, we have the FRC, we have the LASMA, we have even when you get to Ogun State, there are different, personnel trying to trace, helping people to behave well on our roads.
Traffic calming.
But how do you, because road safety is actually a shared responsibility.
Yes,
so how do you relate with how do you collaborate, relate with other sister agencies in ensuring that there is enough safety as your organization or your institution preaches, to ensure that we have better lives? I mean, lives saved for the better.
Well, actually, we have platform for collaboration.
Okay.
Like you said, road safety is a shared responsibility. It is not only for FRSA. It is for every one of us. So we relate and we operate with all these people, all traffic management agencies, even at the state level. Even beyond that, people that are not for traffic management, even as we speak now, there is an operation that is going on in collaboration with even the civil defense, the police, and all of them. So we work together. We meet regularly to fashion out strategies to ensure that we have a seamless operation. So we have very cordial working relationship.
Cooperating with your agency?
Yes, every one of them cooperating. They are all cooperating. Like in Lagos, last month, we work hand in hand. We work together. Apart from the fact that we are even co-locating in our command, we do almost everything together. Regularly, we meet another, and that is the way it is across all states where there are state traffic management agencies.
Well, we've seen incidents where, well, not a lot, but we've seen few incidents where we've seen the sister agencies, you know, fighting one another on the road, and people question really how it got to that point. Is it that there's not that level of understanding that people have, each agency or has their own duties to carry out such that it's not overlapping and people are not seeing themselves as begin to fight as enemies, so to speak?
Well, ordinarily speaking, there is nothing that's supposed to bring a fight or misunderstanding. Anywhere you observe that, it is as a result of individual recklessness. But going by the training, going by directives and instructions, we all work towards the same purpose. And if that is true, if there is misunderstanding, there should be a way of addressing it rather than resorting to fighting and all that. So if anybody is doing it, it is as a result of or individual recklessness. But going by the ethics of the profession, of the job, it is not supposed to happen.
So how do you deal with aberrant behavior?
When it happens like that, especially from our own side, there are administrative disciplinary procedure for whoever, because it's not showing a very good image. But any time you record anything, which is very rare, like you pointed out, in our own case, it is very, 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 very rare. But if there are cases like that, there are administrative disciplinary measures for whoever that is involved.
So how has the Corps been able to maintain its standards? Like you mentioned, it's very rare, and a lot of Nigerians will agree with you that is very rare, and that the people conduct themselves in certain way professionally. That's the word. So how has the Corps been able to maintain that standard?
You cannot maintain that standard without strict measures. So the measures that are in place are so strict that you know if you are involved, you know the consequences. And there are trainings every week. Like, for instance, we come together every Mondays and every Wednesday for trainings, for lectures, even from resource persons from outside the command for training. And that is why you see the level of discipline, at least to a very reasonable level, is high. So there are so many measures. What are the
consequences? I'm sure a lot of persons will want to know.
The consequences of misconduct.
Yes.
There are so many of them. In fact, like the height could be termination of appointment. That is gross misconduct, especially on the road, patrol misconduct.
What could lead to that? Is it, for instance, the misunderstanding with sister agencies? Can it lead to that? Or if one is seen to be perhaps involved in sharp practices?
Exactly. Like the sharp practices you mentioned, FRS really frowns at it. And that is why we have a special department that goes out to monitor operatives on the road. So if you are involved in such sharp practices, definitely you face a disciplinary panel. And in most cases, the consequence is termination of appointment. And if you know if you are caught misbehaving, engaging in such practices that you'll be terminated, you at least caution yourself.
Absolutely.
You caution yourself. And also, when you have a case of probably that type of misunderstanding with other sister agency, there are procedures too. It may not necessarily be termination all the time, but definitely there are other penalties that you don't even want to, to get involved in.
Yeah.
As you're talking about, some fracas that actually ensued, between road safety and some other agency, interagency. I don't know why the video is actually playing in my head, or the video on the social media that we've seen, personnel fighting on the roads and all of that. But that being said, that's you taking care of your own personnel.
Yes.
How about you dealing with those who are flouting the rules of the road, where you have the drivers, maybe drink driving, some of them not obeying traffic laws, some of them not having adequate papers to even get behind the wheels. What kind of punitive measures have you been administering to these errant people?
Well, our mandate of enforcement attracts penalties, and that is why you see our men on the road. When you have been reasonably suspected to have committed a traffic offense, there are fines attached to it. At times, we operate what we call mobile courts. In fact, if you are issued a ticket, the fact is you have the choice to make, either to go and make your payment, or at times we decide whether there should be prosecution.
And do your personnel also decide how much the person pays on the spot?
No, not on the spot. There are regulated fines for each of those offenses. It is there. It is gazetted. So it is not that you decide when you are arrested, that is when it is. No, it is not like that.
So anyone who does that is actually, going against the codes of conduct?
Actually, nobody does that. Nobody. No. If you do it, it is just on your own. There are regulated fines attached to each of those offenses. So, like the case of mobile court, there are times you don't even allow people to go and pay. Mobile court is, as you are arrested, you are pushed to the magistrate that is already standing or waiting. That the case is treated immediately through a magistrate. That is the mobile court. That is apart from you going to court to go and pay your fines and all that. So there are mayors.
All right, let's look at the issue of focus at this point, talking about addressing matters of accident. Let's perhaps create some level of awareness as well this morning, since we have the opportunity, such that people understand what could lead to them having accidents and what they can do to avoid it.
Yes. Well, it is... when we say a road traffic accident, it is like a case of a thief that never announces is coming. It will just happen unexpectedly. And as such, we are supposed to get prepared. And how do you get prepared? To start with, you must be learned. That is in terms of rules of engagement. That is, you must have a prerequisite experience of driving. That is going through a driving school before you acquire your driver's license. If without going through a driving school, in fact, presently it is not possible to obtain a driver's license. That will make you to have the required knowledge to drive. And having obtained your driver's license, now the vehicle itself has to be in good order. The vehicle must be in good working condition. And after that, now yourself, what are you expected to do while you are driving? While you are driving, so that you remain safe and others on the road will remain safe. Don't forget, every individual has a right to use the road, and we must always accord everybody that right. You must not drive in such a way that it will infringe on the safety of others on the road. You drive safely. You maintain regulated speed limit. Speed is one of the leading factors. When you talk of factors responsible for road traffic accidents, speed is one of the leading factors. And that is why we are fighting towards that direction, at ensuring that people maintain regulated speed limit. When you are driving, it is not time for you to receive or to make calls. When you are driving or you know you want to drive, it is appropriate for you to prepare yourself very well, to avoid fatigue. If you know that you are not in the right frame of mind, it is not compulsory. It is better you don't drive, so that you can drive some other times. When you are driving, you don't overtake at dangerous places. For instance, at a bend, when you cannot see clearly, oncoming vehicles. There are situations whereby you see underage drivers, people that are not up to 18 years old. When you are driving, you don't engage in drinking. If you must drink, probably water. You have ample time after driving, you do whatever you like, but as long as you remain behind the wheel, it is not expected that you drink anything, alcohol. When you drive, this is a special condition, for instance, rainy season.
Yes.
Rainy season. It is expected that you apply common sense skills.
But we say common sense is
especially speed. Common sense. Now, as it is now, there is nowhere you are expected to drive more than 100 kilometers per hour. No road, nowhere. You are expected to go beyond that. But you don't say because it is stipulated you can go 100. Even under the rain, you still want to keep to that 100.
That's right. You know, with all of these things that you've said, you know, they are quite, very, very good nuggets, for especially for those who are watching us and planning to get behind the wheels and hit the road. But most of the people that flout these regulations are the commercial drivers. We see what they do on the streets of Lagos, and then you wonder whether they are above the law. Some of them even use sirens. Some of them even drive on the BRT lanes and all of that. How do you work with? We talked about you collaborating with interagencies. How about you taking this gospel to the parks? Relating with the NURTW and some of the road transport workers. Have you been faced with different challenges in executing some of your strategies and plans?
Well, as it is now, we have a good working relationship.
Sorry, because the reason why I'm saying this is that sometimes you are on some of these buses, and then you'll be wondering, or you see them doing all of this, and they'll tell you, people will be telling you beside them, is there guys that own these vehicles? That's the reason why they flout the orders.
However, it is not correct. It is not correct. Like I said the other time, even this morning now, we have dispatched our men to parks for enlightenment. There is what we call early morning safety cry. That you talk to drivers.
How do they do that? Because we go to the parks once in a while and we don't hear cry. The only cry we hear is calling destinations and.
We cannot be there. There is a stipulated time to be there. Like this morning, we have dispatched them. They are there at the major parks. That's to talk to drivers, especially people going on long journeys. You talk to drivers. You talk to even the passengers. They have roles to play to ensure that they are safe.
That's right.
You don't just keep quiet and allow anybody to drive you to death. So they have roles to play. For the unions, transport unions, we have good working relationship with them. We call them stakeholders because they are actually our stakeholders. So we take our campaigns to them on a regular basis. On a regular basis. Even at the state level. And that is the way it is across all states. The NURTW, the Road Transport Employers Association, and all of them.
But their action is not showing as if they get this message at all. They still flout the rules, and then we still see some of your men just look at them or turn a blind eye.
Yeah, some even wait.
You see, it is not like that. You see, it's not even limited to commercial drivers, even private. If you know what we experience, even private drivers, they almost behave the same way. And the volume of vehicles in Lagos, like if you go to our command now, as we speak, you cannot see less than 20 these yellow buses arrested just yesterday. So you keep arrest and arrest and arrest. It is not something you can probably arrest everybody in one day. It is a continuous campaign, and this is what we do every day. And I believe without that, the situation we'll be talking about would have been different.
So when you see something, they say you should say something.
Say something.
Sometimes you see, some of these trucks, carrying containers, and they are not fastened, they are not locked to, the base that actually lifts them. Are there emergency, lines to reach through if passengers, or let's say, maybe someone who is on the road and seeing some of these dangers, these danger indicators. or dangerous indicators to send some of these signals to the road safety?
Yes, we have. We have a toll-free emergency line, and that is the 122.
Okay.
The 122 is just
the
general one. The general one that is being coordinated from the headquarters. And apart from that, at the state level here, we have to emergency line that runs for 24 hours. When you call, there is always somebody that will. You can call at any time to report.
What's the number? What's the number for the one in the state?
The one in the state is 080.
Okay.
77. 690.
690.
201.
Okay.
That's the number. You call that number any time of the day, either day or night, you have a response. And quickly, it will be noted and communicated to the appropriate command or patrol team that will deal with such situation. If it is 122, we get that message immediately and reactions will follow.
Because I recall that there was an operation too where the FRC went out to address truck drivers.
Yes,
especially those who were not putting in safety measures.
Safety measures. Standard safety measures. Yes. Like the one you pointed out on last week, there are special operations targeted at that. If you are driving a truck containerized without being lashed, it is a dangerous driving. It's a dangerous driving, and there are punitive measures for that. I mean, punishment.
How about trucks that are parked on the roads? We have seen them constituting obstruction on major roads, not just major roads, even inner roads. What is the Corps doing with regards to that?
We have, we observe that we have heavy-duty tow trucks that are even recently supplied to us in Lagos. As we speak now, we have about 5 at different locations. They are meant for such emergencies. When trucks are parked at places where they are not expected to park, most of these roads are even narrowed already. Now, for you coming to park on the road again, you have restricted people's movement. And that is why you have all these teams on the tow truck. What they do is to look out for such obstruction and ensure that they are removed immediately.
Because they also contribute to what we call road accidents, especially for those who drive at night. Who are not expecting that such trucks will be there and just ram into it at the end of the day. But I would have loved for you to perhaps shed more light on this driving during the rains, because it's the rainy season.
It is, yes.
And people need to take caution as much as possible.
Yeah. Now, to start with, there's need for the vehicle to be in proper shape, such that if you are driving under the rain, there will not be breakdown. But if there is breakdown, there is tendency of other vehicle to run into you. So if you must drive during the rain, ensure that the vehicle is in proper...
When we say proper shape, you need to break that down quickly.
For instance, you carry out normal routine maintenance of your vehicle. When you use a vehicle for a period of like 6 months, 8 months without even changing the oil, you know, such vehicles can break down at any time. It's unannounced. So there's need for you to ensure that, yes, the vehicle is working fine. Then, the most important is that speed. When you are driving under the rain, you are expected to use what we call common sense speed limit.
All right.
It is better you arrive late. It is better. But go at a very reasonable speed that you can control.
Right.
And in fact, if it is avoidable, it is just like traveling in the night. If you can avoid it.
Avoid driving.
Even under the rain, if it is possible, you do that. It's just like you are driving in the night. Because under the rain, it is possible if there is a problem, help may not come at the appropriate time.
Right.
At the appropriate time.
Right. Okay, we'll have to leave the conversation here now. We must thank you, Deputy Corps Commander Operations, Lagos Sector Command, FRSC, Lucas Oguntade, for your time on the program. And the emergency lines you gave earlier says 122 or 080-776-90201 to call in case of an emergency or you see a situation that needs to be reported.